Thank you, Madam President. And hello, everyone. I know everybody was just dying to know whose table I was going to sit at today, but not so fast. I'm at the head table one more time. And I am truly honored to have this opportunity to introduce Robert Simon, CEO and President of Corporate Realty. Robert has been in Birmingham his entire adult life and most of his childhood. So many, maybe most, probably all of you already know Robert. And you have some sense of impact or some sense of the impact that he's had on our community. So I'm probably not going to spend a ton of time on that today. I really want to try to share some things with you that you may not already know about Robert. But let's start with what you do know. Over the past 25 years, he's built a company, Corporate Realty, which has evolved from a traditional commercial real estate firm focusing on historic renovation and adaptive reuse projects to a regional developer and player with projects across the Sun Belt encompassing all the sectors: multifamily, GSA, hospitality, medical, senior living, office, mixed use, even industrial. Y'all, it's very special for a single company to have the experience and the chops to pull off such a wide variety of types of developments. And in addition to these projects, Robert's been focused on urban anchor development. It's a term I hadn't heard until working at Corporate Realty. I think his bio now refers to them as community anchors. Nonetheless, they are those assets and those places that you enjoy as a citizen of our city that you weren't even thinking about 10 to 15 years ago. Those transformational projects like Railroad Park, Regents Field, Protective Stadium, and one that's coming soon, the newly announced amphitheater. So Robert and his team at Corporate Realty have played integral roles in all of these projects. They've done the heavy lifting on the front end and the back end to continue the momentum in the districts where they land. These projects, they take tremendous amount of fortitude and perseverance, in addition to finesse and creativity to structure financing and the public-private partnerships required to make them happen. He's masterful at this and sometimes even makes it look easy, or most of the time. But trust me, by the time you hear about it, he and his team have been working on it for years. Robert served on the boards of Leadership Alabama, Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Woodlawn Foundation, and a host of many others. He's been named one of BBJ's most influential executives pretty much every year since 2013. He's a visionary and a tremendous leader. A couple of things you might not know. I call him Rico Suave. Well, I mean, same initials, and he's always so put together. So you did know that. Sorry, you knew that part. Robert is even more committed to his family than he is to his community. His grown children, Max and Miller, are somehow remain at the top of his priority list through all the tough projects and work. He loves music. He loves live music specifically the Boss and the Stones, unconditionally. This is a thing. He's married to a dynamic and fierce businesswoman, Leslie Simon, who's introduced him to a whole new genre of music to love. I think it's safe to say we can add Garth Brooks to the list. And are you a Swiftie? Taylor Swift. It's there. It's there. I promise it is. Plainly put, he loves a good time. More than that, he loves for you to have a good time. In fact, I would say his love language is creating great experiences for other people. And that goes for you, Birmingham, everyone in this room. He tirelessly works on creating great experiences for our city and region through dynamic real estate projects. And I don't think he's done. Perhaps the best is yet to come. Please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of Corporate Realty, one of our greatest visionaries and doer of big things, my friend and family, Robert Simon.
Okay, I can leave. Thank you, Meredith. Very kind. Let's see, how do I get this started? There we go. Thank you for having me today, I guess, to kick off the inaugural meeting for you guys. It's exciting. It's an exciting time, challenging time, but happy to be here. Before I get started, it's fun to look around the room and see people and recognize the friends, the associates, the partners that I have. That we've been able to work together in a vast array of projects, from bankers to contractors to housing authorities to healthcare authorities to the city of Birmingham, Hoover, you name it. And we get to have those opportunities truly all over the Southeast, but nothing's more special than what we do here. I'm going to take you through a quick overview. Really don't like talking about myself that much, but I really would enjoy a Q&A if we have time, just to let other people ask questions. It's a little bit easier. Well, maybe. Team introduction. Am I doing this or you? Okay. I don't know who's driving this thing. Anyway, it always starts with the team, and we've assembled a fabulous team at Corporate Realty, Healthcare Resources, and Home Communities. I mentioned these three platforms because they really are distinctive in what we're doing as a company, and you'll see more about that in the future. What we realized as we've evolved is that when you do mixed use projects and you do the types of projects that we do, there's certain things that are the centerpieces of those projects. Many of these projects have urban anchors, as Meredith referred to. I guess we coined that phrase somewhat, but those are things where people want to come to. And so you'll see a recurring theme as you look at the projects that we deliver. Those things can be different. Some of them can be wellness oriented. Some of them can be experiential. Some of those can be music or where you play sports and entertainment, all kinds of different things. It's where people congregate. They can also be green spaces. And so it's really important. But this team is great at what they do, and I'm proud to line up with them every day. We're all over the Southeast. We're in Tennessee, South Carolina, Birmingham, of course, Hoover, Georgia, and then we have a large presence in the state of Florida. Again, we're taking those same concepts and trying to deliver them all over the Southeast, and it's an exciting time for us. This is representative of projects that we've done. Many of you have been part of. We did the Encompass Health Building at Liberty Park, Cardiovascular Associates Building at Colonnade, the venue at the ballpark, the Lumen at the ballpark, and then two other senior communities. One of those is in West Palm Beach, and the other is in Summerfield, Florida. So when you look at the development pipeline, we're busy. It's an interesting time. The financial markets are challenging. We've been very fortunate to have great partners on the financial side, both in capital partners as well as banks and lenders. Very fortunate. But like I said, we are across the southeastern United States with projects. I won't list all of these, but we'll highlight a few. Again, Davie, Florida is one of the projects that we're really excited about on the healthcare side. We're working with Memorial Health down there on a 45,000-foot medical building for them, plus a senior community down there. The Star. This is a project that is a passion project for me. When we were involved or asked to be involved with a group of businessmen that were looking to bring UAB football back, so many people understand the story. I'll tell it briefly. It really, UAB and UAB football are so important. UAB is so important to Birmingham. UAB football really had not gotten the kind of support that it needed. When they shut the football program down, the business community really got engaged, and they got engaged because they recognized that UAB is so important and the undergraduate campus is so important that we need these types of things to make and help UAB grow, but also grow the city. You know, as we go forward, I guess some folks brought me in because I've done a stadium deal, and we were able to work together with many people in the community to get Protective Stadium built, and it is, to say the least, a shining star. Next to this property, or somewhat adjacent to the property, is the old Caraway campus. I know most of you are familiar with it. It is 52 acres. It was dilapidated. It was blighted. It was in rough shape. And we have been working diligently for I think almost 6 years on that project to get to where we are today. I think everybody probably saw last 2 weeks the announcement that the BJCC had issued the bonds, and the amphitheater, which is located in Block D, which you can see in front of you there, serves as the urban anchor for this particular property. When we looked at this piece of land and tried to decide what we could do with it, you know, tearing everything down, coming back with something homogenized was not really the idea that we had. As Meredith mentioned, we've done a lot of historic renovation in Birmingham, and so we're proud that we were able to save some of the buildings over there. We're going to do a variety form of housing. We're going to have market rate multifamily. We're going to have attainable housing, and we're going to have market rate single family. And so we have a bunch of different offerings. We also have 38 lots in the Norwood and Druid Hills community that we'll be able to work with builders and others to populate those. So we look at this project initially as a residential property. And one of the things that we really feel strongly about and we're very happy about is through our community engagement, we were able to work with the city of Birmingham, with the residential neighborhoods in Norwood, Druid Hills, and Evergreen to get the property rezoned and get the queue conditions in place to build an amphitheater. The amphitheater is vital to this project, and it's vital because it will drive hundreds of thousands of people to this area multiple days a year and serve the community in a lot of different ways. You know, if you use the same thought processes that we used with the railroad park was built where nothing was. It was underutilized. And today, I think it's 800,000 plus go to the railroad park in that area in Parkside. So we think the same things will happen here. Again, along with the venue or other components, grocery stores, quick service retail, medical. The medical community is really speaking loudly to us right now on this project. We're very excited about that. It's an underserved area, and so we think it's a great opportunity. We don't know of another location in the Birmingham area that has this kind of connectivity. Because it was a hospital, because it was a mature hospital, the interstate system literally just dumps out into it. So there's just great connection points between north, south, east, and west. So we're, again, very excited about it. We're in discussions with multiple retail uses, experiential retail, that there'll be some announcements soon to come. And I think you'll see this is going to be a very activated area. So, you know, I mentioned the amphitheater. The amphitheater is going to be world-class. One of the things that we're really excited about is the aesthetic of the amphitheater, getting it lower, really working on sound attenuation, but also coming up with a great experience, both for the fan and for the artist. Most people equate an amphitheater to a fan. It goes from one side to the other. When you start to see the pictures of this particular facility, notice that it's designed like a guitar pick. So the ends are closer up and you have better sight lines, better visibility, and great sound. So again, we're excited about that. And of course, we've called the project the Star. You know, the Blue Star was a beacon of light in this community, and we believe it should come back. And, you know, we worked on our 5 points of the Star: community, opportunity, celebration, connection, and progress. And that's kind of how we look at the Blue Stars is our star. So Edge Hill, another great project, and Edge Hill at Southtown. You know, Housing Authority partners are here today. I'm thrilled that y'all are here and get to see what we're doing, right? Very excited. Again, great project, long gestation period to bring it to where it is now. Very excited about replacement housing that's going on site. There's a commitment to the housing stock that needs to be on that site. We're under construction right now with the family, and we closed on the adult last week. So very good. And so now behind it is some of the commercial space and also some more residential. So as we look at this site, we're really excited about, again, starting with residential and being able to serve the community the way we are with the housing authority and having a variety of housing opportunities. Our next component with this, I mentioned the family and the senior, we'll have a workforce product, and then we'll have a market rate product. So again, lots of different areas and ideas being tapped into on the residential front. I don't know that there will be a more inclusive environment in the city of Birmingham that we'll have right here as it relates to residential. The other part of this, and I have to look at my note because I always bungle this, but the other aspect of this development is what we're going to do with the rest of it. Again, great partnerships working together, Southern Research, UAB, City of Birmingham, Jefferson County, State of Alabama. You know, we're really looking to broaden our scope here and do something that is very opportunistic and allows us to tap into becoming a federal tech hub. That's lingo for being able to be designated. Designation is good in this capacity because we really want to grow biomedical. We believe that with the things that go on at UAB and Southern Research and a lot of the VC things that we have going on in this city, we need to lean into what we're good at. What we're good at is healthcare. And so we feel very strongly that we need to get behind it. And so together we're all going in this direction. You know, you'll see like the connection and how these things connect and the way that we see it from a 30,000-foot view. And then you start to see the scale. The scale is going to be beautiful because we've got opportunities to play with the topography of the site. Again, huge job creation, huge job training. All of these things go together. And you start to see how these things play out with green space, both elevated and on the ground, parking and different retail components. And then again, kind of the build out of the site. So this isn't all the land. We've got what we call the A block, and the A block is still tenanted by residential. And when we get finished building the residential that we're building, that block will become available and we'll have a development plan for that. But we're very excited about Edge Hill at Southtown and again, bringing a very diverse community here. Riverwalk Village, again, thrilled that the Healthcare Authority and city council members here today with River Chase. We've been working with the city of Hoover for quite some time on, again, another revolutionary project that we think will be great. We're taking office space, corporate office space, and doing an adaptive reuse project there focused about wellness and healthcare. When we're complete, approximately 600 residential units in a variety of single family, multifamily, and active adult will be built on the site. Community space, green space, walking trails, etc. I mean, it is a huge project and a great piece of property and a great location. We're very excited about it. So again, in Hoover, Knox Square really speaks to our active adult platform. We've partnered with a company that is wants to be very aggressive in this space. And our goal is to put 2,500 to 3,500 active adult locations around the Southeast on the ground in the next 5 to 7 years. Active adult is 55 and up. And so as we've been in I see people nodding their head like we can go there now, right? I can go there. We've been building senior housing around the Southeast for quite some time. What we see coming out of COVID is a desire to be people not ready to make that step. So we think there's an interim step, and we think that's active adult. And we're, again, very excited about that and the design elements. And the last two projects I'll feature today is Lighthouse Harbor. Again, another large-scale mixed-use progress in the Palm Coast area of Florida. We're doing a marina down there, which we had never done a marina. That's interesting. But again, all of these projects are leading with residential. There's just huge residential demand in these areas. And then more pictures. And then the last project will be the Floridian. We're through site work on this. Again, working with Advent Health is a healthcare partner on this site with about 50,000 feet of healthcare on the site, 600 apartment units, about 100,000 square feet of retail, and some quick service retail as well. So, these are, you can start to see the theme of the multiple platforms and kind of how we can deliver those things. So I think that is, that'll be it. Thank you. So with that, are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Elaborate a little bit more on the big residential and the old downtown property. Some of the old residents coming back in.
Yes, absolutely. So, absolutely. So, that project has served this community, that community has served this community for a long time. And so part of working with the housing authority, with their leadership teams and working with the mayor, replacement housing was a big part of that equation. In order to be able to use some of the property to do commercial work, we have to bring back tenancy. So we're excited about bringing back again, first family and then senior in that component. And then we've still got more to do. But again, having the market rate and the workforce housing on that site, one of the things in working with the city and the county and state on the technical hub is job training. So not only do we want to have job training on the site, and that's part of the overall vertical build, but we also need a place for them to live. Because these communities, to compete with the Bay Area and to compete with Boston, they're used to just being where they are and walking, and very walkable, very scalable. So we're excited about building those kind of components to go along with the residential pieces. Yes, sir.
The Smithfield community, or the city of Birmingham, just want a $50 million grant to the Smithfield community. So can you share with us what kind of impact that might have on the Smithfield community and surrounding areas? Dr.
Hood, do you want to answer that question? It'll be huge. Look, I think that you have to recognize that, it's kind of the hub and spoke mentality. If you want a strong wheel, you got to have a strong hub, you got to have strong spokes, and then you have a solid wheel. And I think that, we can go back and look at why areas of the city, any city, we're not terminally unique in this. Why we have areas that go down, why we have areas come up, and certainly money is part of it. Jobs are part of, lots of things are part of it. But to inject $50 million in the Smithfield area and to get that, again, just that building block of out now, we refer to it, Meredith, you may have coined it, the pebble in the pond. It's simply the ripple effect. When you put that kind of money and those types of resources to work in a certain area, what will be thought about and should be thought about sooner than later is what's next. Don't stop what you're doing because you did it. You got to keep doing it in order to have success. So, Smithfield can go into Graymont, which can go into other areas. And I think you can see a great transformation in the western side of town. Yes, sir.
Thanks for being with us to share this exciting news. Kick off the program here. When Protected Stadium went in, it's my understanding a lot of visits were made literally door to door to neighborhood, Norwood community, not just to sell residents on the project, listen to them about their concerns. Y'all done something similar around Caraway neighborhood?
Community engagement is part of everything we do. We don't take it lightly. We don't take it lightly in areas like North Birmingham. We don't take it lightly in areas like Hoover. You have to listen to the community. You have to listen to what people are saying. By and large, what we find is that you really don't have opposition. Of course, people aren't always happy with what you want to do. It's not the opposition that is bothering them. or their position of opposition. What their position is they're unhappy about something. And it may not be anything to do with your project, but they're unhappy about something. Sometimes it does, and you got to address it. I think we do a good job of listening. And I think that, our success in areas with difficult projects is we believe in the community engagement. We try to listen, we try to build trust, and we deliver. So, that's kind of what we have to do. Yes, sir. It's been going on. We finished demolition on everything with exception to the original hospital building. We're working with HUD on that project, and so they have peculiar things like you can't touch the building, so we can't touch it. I said, can we clean it out? They said, you can't touch it. So we can't touch it, but everything will be down, and then you'll start seeing things get built back. I mean, currently the amphitheater is slated for spring of 25, and I think you'll see a lot of delivery in that time frame. Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask about opportunity zones. I know it seems like things have turned around in the first release. Everybody talks about it. I haven't heard as much, but number one, is it something that your company has been able to utilize and do their own personal insights on opportunity zones and the opportunity?
I think opportunity zones, I'm sure, have been beneficial in some areas. We have not been able to utilize opportunity zones. We tried, but it's complicated. And, I'm happy to talk to you after this. There's a lot to it. And so, and now in 23, I think it sunsets in 27. So the real tax benefits that were there are going to sunset. Those tax benefits were not tax benefits the way you would think of getting a project. You can't do a project because it's in an opportunity zone. It's not capital up front. It's not part of the capital stack. It's a deferment of tax due. And then subsequent to that, what you do with that money during that period of time is not taxed when you sell after you hold. So that's a knockdown version. I think it got a lot of traction with certain types of people and certain types of companies that could utilize it and be in control. Most of the opportunity zone funds were less than beneficial, but some people did very well with them. Yes, sir.
From the transition geographically between the BJCC, Protective Stadium, the Topgolf area uptown to the amphitheater, what is that going to be like? What is that area in between? How will that work?
You have a great question. You have a number of churches that are in that area. And so, I think you'll see connectivity with sidewalks and lighting and things that make it more pedestrian oriented. The state owns some of that property, and the BJCC is, works all the time with the state, certainly with the interstate system that's gone on. So, I think you'll see some more acquisition in that area, probably by the BJCC. But again, the state owns a lot of that property or some of it. I think the parts and pieces, I think one of the things that most of these projects do are you can't buy everything and you can't develop everything. And so there's certain parts and pieces that you just have to do the best you can. Our focus and attention is being able to make the pedestrian orientation from Protective Stadium to our property as good as it can be. We've got 1,900 car parks on our site. So those car parks are going to be utilized both by Protective Stadium and by the amphitheater and the Star Project. So these things start to work together. Clearly, Topgolf was a huge development for Birmingham and huge development for that north side area, North Birmingham area, because it showed that people are willing to go to these travel patterns. And so I think it'll all work out great. Yes, sir.
Up in the shadow of the coast, in terms of building, you've got historic structure, that whole school is just crumbling. And I know different people talking about it, and you have some ideas, maybe that's the plan. But do you see anything that might be done to benefit the school system and the city and the areas around there? Maybe you can.
It is a good question. You know, the Powell School is different because it's a historic property. It's also different because it caught on fire. And I'm not, I know a lot of people have looked at it and gotten involved. And I think if there's a way to rehabilitate it, it's great. It is very difficult when these properties sit like that in those conditions for these periods of time. And at some point, there's nothing left. I mean, there's just, and that's sad and true. The Peerless Saloon went through the same experience. I like the Peerless Saloon. I'm just, I was young, but anyway, but nonetheless, I mean, I think, you know, I would love to see that. I will say this, and I think I gotta go, but and this is, I guess, a pet peeve, but you know, schools are typically built in areas that need to serve a population. And from time to time, you have to close a school. I think it's a bad idea to close a school without having use for the school. And so I would challenge any municipality to not close a school without having a use. Give it away, do something. But typically it just creates blight and it hurts the residential community. So things start withering and withering and withering and they just die. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so very much again, Robert. We appreciate all that you do to serve and to make Birmingham great. So we appreciate your time today with us, and we will be making a donation to Jones Valley Teaching Farm in your honor. Again, thank you for being here. Kiwanians, please make note of the calendar of events shown on the screen, and we ask that you join us again next week to hear Daniel Coleman, president of Birmingham Southern College. Thank you all so very much for being here today with me for this first meeting. And with that, first meeting for me, we stand adjourned. Thank you.